Yossi Mekelberg. He joins me now from London. He's an associate fellow with Chatham House. Yossi, good to have you on the show. Earlier throughout the day, I had a guest on, Ali Abu Nimeh, and he was saying that the recent events aren't anything surprising, and it's partly because Israel has been given sort of the green light or possibly a tacit approval from the international community to act the way that it does. How much do you think that this plays into it, the lack of response from the international community, or plays into the general conflict?
I agree in principle the international community for a long time relinquished its responsibility, not only specifically what's happening in the last few days, which is horrendous, many people are killed, and there is a real danger of escalation, but also try to promote a political solution. And when there is no political solution, that's exactly what happens. What we saw, for instance, in the last week or so, President Biden, for instance, and the State Department expressed completely understanding of Israeli operation in Gaza, which was a sort of green light act as the way you would like. Now, I think there is a lot of factors here that enter at the same time. There is a midterm election in the United States. The European Union is not really interested in what's happening between the Israeli-Palestinian anymore. The political system the Palestinian political system is broken, and Israel is conducting election every year or so. All of this is not conducive, actually, for constructive solution for the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
Yossi, in a recent interview, you said that there is an inherent problem with the system. I mean, you have Hamas, you have Fatah, you also have Islamic Jihad. On the flip side, you have political instability in Israel. What are the chances of this changing?
Well, not great, unfortunately. If Israel continue, look at opinion polls in Israel, and the sag is whether one block of the Netanyahu or the only not Netanyahu is going to have the upper hand, but the upper hand will be a majority of one or two in the Knesset. This won't give a political stability with the ability to take far-reaching decisions. The succession among the Palestinians, what will come when President Abbas vacate the political scene, this is an unknown. And even you could see in Gaza, I didn't see Hamas sheds too many tears when the Islamic Jihad is hit quite badly. Under this situation, the more very short-term domestic consideration takes precedence over the important, the urgent, the acute. I'm afraid we'll see more of these rounds of violence, and more ordinary people pay with their life for this.
You mentioned opinion polls. I mean, throughout this fighting, Yair Lapid has refrained from outright mentioning Hamas, which, as you know, is in very stark contrast to his predecessor, Netanyahu, who basically held Hamas responsible for anything that came from Gaza. I mean, do you think that Yair Lapid may have scored some points here?
I think it did, but again, opinion polls don't show that. If you look at opinion polls from today, the margins are the changes are very small. But in principle, he probably would be satisfied with what Israel achieved, or the military, the IDF achieved in the last few days. He showed responsibility. He shows that he can react. And when Netanyahu, so-called Mr. Security, didn't achieve things that Lapid achieved, at least in the way that the Israeli would like to portray the situation, he will feel more confident. Don't forget, there is another 83, 84 days until the election. It's a very long election campaign, and things can go very wrong as we see this escalation during the summer and the autumn. So they also need to stop in a way that won't harm more, for instance, sustain rocket attacks on Israel. On the other hand, Lapid understands, as some within the Israeli IDF, that at the end of the day, Hamas, whether they like it or not, is sort of a partner, and a more responsible partner than Islamic Jihad, because it has to be more attentive, the 2 million Palestinians that live in Gaza, and they are their government, they need to look after its welfare and well-being.
Okay. Yossi Mekelberg, thank you very much for joining us here on the NewsHour. I do appreciate listening to your analysis. Thank you.